I'm Julianne. I'm with Blissful Beautopia. So I'm going to get a little bit into birth control. So let me give you a little bit of a background of where I'm coming from with hormones. Right before I was about to get married, I started birth control. When I started that birth control, I immediately got a cyst on one of my ovaries. I'd never experienced one before, and I wasn't really sure what it even was. I went to the ER. They told me I had a cyst on my ovary that was kind of bleeding into itself and making it sting. So a few $1,000s later, really all they could do is wait for it to pop on its own, and when it did, it hurt really bad. You know, I've talked to a lot of my girlfriends about this, and it is very common when women are on birth control. It often makes them feel different in many ways. Often makes them feel grumpy, PMSy, frustrated, short-tempered, low sex drive, just not very loving. And this was the case for me. It definitely changed my personality while I was on it, and I was honestly relieved to be able to get off of it when I got pregnant. That has obviously been a battle for me because I didn't want to take anything with estrogen in it, which eliminates most birth control options. I did try a progesterone-based birth control, which I really liked when I was on it. However, the birth control was not effective for me, and I got pregnant and lost the pregnancy on it anyway. So I didn't want to go back to using that either. There's obviously other methods like condoms. That really wasn't an option for me if I wanted to have a good marriage. Abstinence is also not an option for me. I want to have a good relationship with my husband. So I have been looking, seeking, trying to find natural forms of birth control that will work for us without making our lives miserable, without hurting my body. So before my periods were regular, I was trying all sorts of different things. One option is this. Okay, so this is called a Lady Q. You actually put your saliva on the lens and it magnifies it, and it has a light that shines, and you look into it and see what your saliva is doing. And they give you examples of what the saliva should look like if you are fertile versus not fertile. For me, I personally didn't find this effective enough to be able to try to prevent, or if you want to try to get pregnant. It was very hard for me to tell when I was fertile or not fertile using this device. Other women have had great success with it. I think on its own, it's probably not enough, but it can be one of the things that you use. It is a tool that is available to you to be able to know what's going on inside of your body. Another option is a basal temperature monitor. So this takes a very accurate measurement of your temperature. At the time that you're about to ovulate, you will hit a peak in your temperature. When you are keeping track of it, you can tell when you're about to ovulate. The downsides would be that you have to take your temperature at the same time every morning, and it has to be when you very first wake up. You can't have even spoken or eaten or really even moved around before you take this. It needs to be on your bedside, and you need to hurry and take it. It's not fully consistent, and once again, this is going to be just another tool in your pocket to be able to see when you are ovulating, and you'll see it on your chart if you're charting. Another tool for you to have access to are ovulation strips. These do not have to be expensive. I got this giant box of 100 ovulation strips off of Amazon for $30, and it also included 50 pregnancy strips. Around the time that you think you're going to be ovulating, I take mine every single day for that entire week, and then I can clearly see on my chart when I peaked and when I came back down. So I know for sure when I am on the other side of ovulation and no longer fertile if I don't want to get pregnant. So it's a very handy tool to have, and it doesn't need to be expensive. Another method is called the CM method. It's called cervical mucus, and it's when you monitor the mucus from your cervix. This is controversial. Not everybody's going to be comfortable with this, but it does also tell you when you are most fertile. There are charts that you can get to see what cervical mucus looks like when you are more fertile. It is more like an egg white consistency when you are fertile versus more of a watery consistency when you are not fertile. That is another thing that you can look for around the time that you're going to be ovulating. You should know around the time that you're going to peak if you're paying attention to that. So these are some of the natural forms of birth control that I have been able to successfully use. It does take work. It does take charting. I use an app called Pre-Mom that allows me to punch all of my different information in, and it keeps track of it for me, and I can even go and look at my chart, and it shows me exactly when I'm peaking. These are some of the ways I've been able to monitor my body and know what's going on, know when I'm ovulating, and have natural birth control instead of putting more hormones into my body, which was causing me a lot of havoc in the first place. So I hope this has been helpful to you and maybe given you some ideas as to how you can take control of your birth control as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Mwah.